Hello Internet, hello War of the Visions fans, I'm Jackie Fox, and today we're going to be doing twice the testing. So much testing, in fact, that I had to break it up into two episodes, one for today, one for tomorrow. And in today's episode, we're going to be trying to beat the Ashen King. Actually, we're going to be trying to beat the Ashen King in both of these episodes, and we are going to be succeeding, spoiler alert, no unit, no matter how definitely more powerful they are than anything we've seen on Global or JP up to this point, maybe Sephiroth withstanding, but I'm not super informed on that yet. He's only been out for a couple of days, but Ashen Mont has been out for a couple of days here in Global, and I've been able to test him at 140 in a variety of situations. So let's see how a Jueme team, which kind of maybe has a little bit of a disadvantage, but can be built to have an advantage over Mont. Not a huge one. They're both powerhouses. They're even better on a team together. But if you're playing them against each other, that is one thing. But also Helena and teams based around Helena can be really powerful. I'm going to stick to Mono Elemental today, so we're going to be testing Ashen Mont teams, a couple of them, we're going to be testing our water and light teams today versus various Ashen Mont teams in auto, and I'm going to be playing both in manual and in auto, so you can get an idea of what the auto would do, you can get an idea of maybe what you could do, maybe some of the tricks that you could use to win these fights. And if your AI and stuff is set up right, like if you have your moves on well and you have yourself set into the right positions and everything, then the auto should be able to do really well. It takes a bit of setup, and I find sometimes it helps me to play in manual, figure out what I want to do, what my priorities are, and then adjust the settings towards those priorities. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the video footage. And I'm going to be testing first this light team, and this is going to be using Sylvie to run Blade Stream. I feel like she has more openings as a healer to be able to cast something like this. In manual, I'm ideally casting this the turn after Ashen Mont uses his AP regen skill, so that he never gets to basically trigger that and get the AP off of it, but he still casts the skill, kind of bait him into it. But even with it nullified, he will still cast that skill regardless. But I mean, it gives him defense penetration and courage, so it's pretty important for him to use that skill even if he's not getting AP from it. So already right off the bat, they're faster than me, which is kind of scary. But I've got Helena here. We've got a number of skills, but because of Uldoa, they're going to be able to deal with my re-raise. I need re-raise protection, more specifically. But also, if I hang back a little bit, maybe some agility could help. But more so than just agility, getting a barrier up can be really helpful for her as well, because it's kind of unlike the barriers in her kit, so it can kind of stack in with some stuff. If I hang back for a second and apply some defensive barriers, because if I can keep her alive and dealing damage, she has a number of ways of shutting this team down that are a little bit luck based, but also relatively consistent in certain ways. So we'll see if we can put something to sleep or something of that nature. So you can see the LB doesn't quite make it to both of them yet, so it's a good time to go ahead and cast this. This is going to remove their courage. This is going to be really important versus Mont. Actually, versus this whole team. This whole team has courage that I'm facing here, and courage removal is going to be really cool for all of them. Also, I don't think they have any way of protecting their courage. Not that those mechanics are super reliable, but they just don't have it. There's, you know, if Helena hits somebody, they're losing their courage, and she's lined up with two of them. So that means that Sylvie and Stern over here need to try to neutralize this Bradley. And he can be a really big deal, but he's also by far the easiest of them to take out, so probably the place to start. That being said, Helena is going to have to be effective in 2v1ing these guys. I think maybe even trying to put them to sleep is the better option here. So we'll see if that lands a status effect. It does not, but I've removed courage from 2 out of 3 of their units. So, you know, really using Helena's kit here to her benefit, and also trying to, like, counterplay Oldoa's aura. But we also got re-raise sealing off on that, and since we don't have re-raise yet, and they haven't tried to take it away, we can now safely put re-raise on Helena. It may be a little bit scary since they're in range of her, but it also might be a more reliable way of keeping her alive, because she is currently up there without it. Also, there were a couple different types of damage reduction there. Both, I don't think the physical one's really going to apply to Mont, but there is a magical layer, a couple magical layers that may apply to Oldoa in certain cases. 2v1ing Bradley is working, but also he can 2v1 us right back because he's feckin' Bradley. But I have the best, probably one of the best heals in the game. And let's see, we'll face the rest of them and just let Bradley get taken out, hopefully by Stern. Okay, Mont's running the LB, so we are gonna start facing trouble now. And this is kind of what I meant by, like, I need that re-raise to be able to survive this. I don't think there was really any way that I could have lived without it, but also it ended up being kind of a moot point because Oldoa did enough damage even through those magic reduction barriers. So we're now fighting a 2v2. We both have... Actually, they've got my best unit, and they still have their best, so I would say I'm in a pretty bad place if it weren't for white magic. So let's use full life to bring our star player, MVP, back from the dead, and also bring regeneration active is going to be a little bit helpful for her, although she's a bit behind. She's not in the best place right now. We can try to disable, but I don't know if you saw that. I did, like, as I was pressing the button, 0% chance to disable from that skill on Mont in that situation. Re-raise still active, so I guess that means that her aura had disappeared by the time he worked his way, and she worked her way over to these 2 re-raise units. Both of their re-raise was able to proc, and it wasn't removed when they were attacked, so... We managed to stall long enough with Helena to protect the re-raise of our teammates against that aura without having to dispel it. Currently, I think Jueme is the only way of dispelling that aura, and especially on this map, lining up her LB against them can be kind of difficult. But we have just Helena now, and we're taking a lot of damage. They have a lot of health left, but she is our DPS, and she's done all her buffing. She is ready for... Oh, I think they may have more health now after the attack. Good grief. Okay, Coral. Ooh, this looks bad. Ooh, except that got reflected. Thank you. Alright, Soul Harvest won't be able to take anyone out, so let's err on the side of finishing someone. And go ahead and get Oldoa out of the game. Mont has... Mont just barely won that one. Okay. So, that wasn't necessarily how to beat Mont. But let's try against a different team. We came pretty close there, and I think, you know, there were plenty of points in that fight where attacks could have put someone to sleep, and had any of those went off, it would have been a very different outcome. So, unfortunately, that skill that hits them with sleep is reflectable, so it's gonna fall into some trouble with Celeste here and Runic. Go ahead and get my re-raise up, though, because they can't, and no one on this team can deal with my re-raise now that we've removed Oldoa from the scenario. Getting these buddy buffs in order now. And maybe this time I don't remember if I used the AP down thing last time, but Celeste certainly is. And This feels kind of like a mistake, or that buff. Unless I put Celeste on the other side. I've considered swapping Celeste and Bradley on this map, or on this team, but also it might just be better to use a different buff, because especially if I start moving forward here, he's gonna miss his AP restore buff anyway, so that there's not really potentially going to be any reason for me to use the AP restore canceling. He's just not going to get to it. He screwed himself over, or I screwed him over, by giving him an additional buff that for whatever reason he prioritizes higher than his own kit, so he's not getting his AP restore. Or maybe he is. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Okay, we did make it. Well, dang. Okay. Sylvie is going to have to react to that. And I'm going to... I think I need a little bit extra protection here. Extra physical protection, mainly. I'm not as scared of Celeste, and I think I have some ways of messing with her, too. So go ahead and trigger that. Get rid of Ashen Mont's AP. Don't ever give him the chance to regenerate his AP. Well, don't let him regenerate his HP either, but, you know. Okay, well, we got a lot to do on this side for right now, so I'm going to go ahead and activate Keen Blade. Go ahead and get Stern in position. Go ahead and trigger my heal, my shield. I really think the CT up was probably important for just making sure that no additional damage somehow came through if somebody got into position. I don't think it was possible, but we still have enough CT left that I can maybe get some swings in on Bradley. Or, since they're bunched over here, maybe get some swings in on them, because this tank does not deal particularly well with physical. I mean, she kind of does. Like, usually, because of the runic, you don't necessarily build her to deal with magic so much as you build her to deal with physical and let the runic deal with the magic. And I kind of forgot here about runic entirely, as a matter of fact, but this gets to... Let me show you something interesting. If you notice, you can go back there. She did not recover any AP for that. It did runic cancel, but it could not recover AP because of the AP restoration nullification. So it works on multiple types of AP restore. There's probably like skills. I mean, there's definitely skills. AP hunt, for instance, steals AP from your opponents. It would still like break AP for them, but it would not give you AP back. It wouldn't effectively be an AP drain. You would get no benefit from it. So they're really laying into us here. Luckily, I have re-raise. I'm just barely squeaking past survival with these. Oh my gosh, we are doing bad. Okay, so this she's not going to be able to reflect, and it's enough to take her down, so I don't have to worry about that second cast of runic, I guess. The reflect is now kind of pointless, but well, I mean, I healed before he reacted. If I hadn't, he probably would have killed me with that reaction, had it procced. But I do have all of my units left. Ooh. She still has re-raise, though. This is looking bad. This is looking bad, but keep up hope. There's always a chance. The true paladin strike and... Okay, well, I'm at least going to try to stay out of AoE zone. I'm going to make him pick one and use the other unit to take him down. Ashen King Mont is not particularly amazing against magic, so I might be able to take him down over here if he doesn't murder me, but, like, all of my units are one hit away from death, basically, so it's last chances for everybody before they call curtains. I think, though, if I could hit one unit here and take him off the board, because we've already dealt with his courage way earlier in the fight with Helena, I'm going to go ahead and get the Ashen King. That leaves Helena, like, pretty damn safe over here all by herself on this side of the map, standing on the Ashen King's corpse. But it does give her time to heal herself, because this is probably going to go badly. I chose to kill the one that wasn't standing next to me, so the one standing next to me is going to take me out and bring this into a 1v1, but it's going to be a 1v1 where my Helena has full health. So, thanks for buying me time, Stern. Your mommy is very grateful. And in your honor, I'm going to win this match for you. To honor your brave and noble sacrifice. Or at least, make it go to time with full health. And let's do this one more time. So far you've been seeing me in manual, but let's see how this goes in auto. Ultimately, if you're playing this in arena, if you're playing this in guild battle, you're going to have to win this fight in auto. So let's just demonstrate if it's possible here. Let's see how it goes. I think auto might have to lean a little bit more into the luck and RNG on Helena's kit because, they probably won't execute a lot of the strategy as well. Like, that's kind of an inopportune moment to use Keen Blade. Her CT was already pretty much maxed out, but also it doesn't really give them that moment to strike that Keen Blade really can in the right scenario. Also, while that's not the worst timing for that skill, and that's how Auto's going to use it, I think, manually timing that skill can have a little bit more impact, especially since some of the buffs can be kind of short. If you can catch them right before they deal damage to you, you take away the first 2 turns they're dealing damage to you, as opposed to if you hit them a turn before they can deal damage to you, then they only have the attack debuff for that first turn they're hitting you. And this is kind of what I mean by, good units be good, but they can't resist all status ailments. There's plenty of people out there who can do stuff. There's all sorts of ways to nullify or counter or cancel or whatever. As long as you're creative and have good stuff, you can build a team that can get fucking naturally evaded by Bradley. But at least Mont is out of the picture. He's definitely the strongest unit on the opposing team. So I've got their star player on the bench right now, and I'm coming in for Soul Harvest. It's actually kind of good that didn't land though, because it would have deleted Mont's sleep, and I think I actually want to let him stay back there. Celeste usually has increased movement. She'll probably get out of his range quickly or sleep me. Okay, now both of our star units are asleep. The second string is now playing the ball game while the coaches just sit it out on the sidelines. It's the Ooh, I was really hoping she would do a Cura there and get Stern topped off as well. Stern is unfortunately going for the tank and ignoring, and actually, even worse, putting his back to Bradley. But that second sleep braid woke up Helena without doing really enough damage to her to really make that sleep worth it. Whereas, again, she is out of Mont's range, but, well, he's awake now, so I guess it's not a big deal. That being said, I have put myself into a situation accidentally where the height difference between those two units, even though she is kind of in range, she's not in height range. She is 2 below him, whereas Stern is only 1 below him. Because this would have played out way worse had he been able to hit both Stern and Helena. This way, I can bring Stern back to life and hope that we can get some more damage in. But damn, Mont is pretty much... I mean, even if Mont took him out there, it still means he's turning his back to Helena at an opportune time for her to heal back to full, at the very least. Get a Reflect active again at the point that no one can use it. But, you kind of have to use that LB to take down Celeste, and both it and I made the mistake of, throwing some AoE skills into the void. But, hey, that's what Celeste is for, so that's definitely realistic to how Auto would play out if you were playing against Celeste on this team. She definitely would cancel 1 or 2 attacks, at least if you had lined the team up well, which is also a good reason to attack Celeste with more physical teams, and now we get into why people build a magic tank Celeste for physical defense. And I know this seems like a really big win, but on teams with a healer support or a lot of healing action, because again, Helena could heal herself all the way back up if she could and just kind of wait Bradley out and hope he doesn't have the AP to one-shot her at any point. But with teams like that, you know, it looks really cool that Bradley had barely any health and they had a lot. It makes it seem like they won by a lot, but they really didn't. Because at so many points there, they were maybe a critical away from losing a unit that would have really set them back too far. So now let's try to do it with Jueme and my Jueme team. So this is going to include Ferris. I wanted to get these guys buffed up together. I was thinking that Elda might be able to jump the wall, but it doesn't seem like he can. But I'm thinking that Elda can probably solo fairly well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Go ahead, use my partner buffs while I'm here. Don't want to get super far ahead. Maybe a little baity on the attack here. Do have some options with Elda, but I think I'm going to use the single target. Remind me to check later, Editor Jackie, but is that supposed to be only 5,000, or have I not leveled that fully? It feels like a dumb mistake to have made, but hey, maybe I have. Let's go ahead and get that HP absorb and that threshold heal up. That is a lot of sustained power in one buff. Now we have the AP activation to respond to. So let's see who's responding to that. Also, this is a buff I've been wanting to try out. I'm not sure how well it fits into her rotation, but it'll help break some slash resistance here in a minute. It's at least going to be helpful for letting Jueme break through some things. Go ahead and get our re-raise up. Even though Eldoa's going to be able to deal with it, there are some other things that come with that re-raise. Maybe I could have done something a little bit differently, but it is what it is. Now, courage is a little bit aggravating here. Let's see if we can do anything that really does more than half of his health. Or hit somebody else. Oh, preemptivity. Okay, well, we healed back a little bit from that. Ashen Mont doesn't get up our butt. Oh, yes. Okay, well, there goes the re-raise. Spirit down. Let's play some CT games with CT Boy. Oh, didn't have courage. Okay, well, that's a swing. So I now kind of have a safe spot on this side of the field. If I can get... So Elda's LB, if you can get that off, it is really strong. It is much like Keen Blade and the buff from Glinting Armor. The problem is it's incredibly flat. If Jueme was standing here, she would be, I think, affected by it. Standing here, maybe affected by it, but I'm not sure. But any lower or higher than that, it would, I think, be a problem. Okay, healed up a bit and all attack type resistances, so that's going to help her with the slash and pierce here. If I can get Ferris in range, I think she can still break some of that slash resistance for me. Ooh. No, that looks bad. That looks real bad. Alright, let's try to heal up. And I know that's not all the healing that Jueme needs. It's all that Ferris can provide in this situation, unfortunately, but... let's see. Looks like... Can't figure out how to hit them both. I think I could have if I moved back further, but I definitely want to hit Eldoa. I want to get rid of her shenanigans, and oh, got her off the map. Okay, and got more of that HP back. So 76 AP. He's got a lot of AP to beat us up with. Oh man, he's doing so much damage. And we're both silenced, which isn't a big deal for either of us, but... Oh, no, I'm out of AP here. Ooh. Well, Spirit Breaker tried to get the slash resistance down, so that's going to help Jueme. But also got the attack down. Hopefully it will help her survive some of this stuff. No, we got hit by by an Esper. Okay. Ooh. So that was tough. Let's see if we can change some things around and make this work a little bit better. We weren't using the blade stream, so that's kind of important, I think, for helping this team win. I mean, you saw how bad that was. But we did get to a point towards the end of the game where it looked like we had sustained, but I said Mont has 78 AP. That means we lose. And he did incredible amounts of damage and wiped 2 units off the board. Now, if we can reach that same point in this match, but Mont does not have that AP, we will win the game. So let's go ahead and see firsthand how this affects the outcome here. Go ahead and get our buddy buffs in. And something I've noticed, particularly on this map, not something I think I'm going to do within this video, but moving Jueme into the middle as an initial placement would allow her to run up the middle area in a really fun way that I think I'm about to discover. I thought Elda could jump it, but actually she can. Or maybe she's on the side that's easier to jump onto. Also, moving laterally like that essentially allows me to keep moving and keep adjusting my positioning without necessarily getting in range. And this can potentially give me an additional buff turn. So, since we're taking away their AP, how about we take our star player and use that additional buff turn and also the safety of the height, hopefully keeping me safe from some of the attacks, so she can come in like a AP and HP restoring ninja and just rain death on them. That's my plan. Looks like it's going to be hard to jump off from there, so maybe back up and also get up. Come on. Oh, no, you didn't do it. Oh, well. That's fine. Looks like Armor Piercer won't go far enough back, so let's hit them with Lion's Drain. Man, those two are so close to being out of this. Let's see if I can get Jueme to hit both of them. Nope. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the R's and stuff. I was very happy to be able to line that up against both of them. I think that definitely trumped it. See if we can hit Jueme. Yeah, okay. I guess they are on basically the same level. Even if he's a little bit... No, I don't think he's higher than them either. Well, R.I.P. Ferris. What I probably should do here, but I thought I saw that I could connect with Jueme. I wanted to boost Jume's CT and attack. But what I should have done is just thrown a spear at Bradley. Because I'm going to have problems if Bradley gets a turn. But I do have an opportunity to save myself here by kind of standing in the middle. Which one is the unit attack? It's Withering Bloom, right? Boom. And luckily that leaving him on the board, I guess, kind of did give me more room to heal with her. Yipes. Okay, well, it's gonna have to have been a lot because now it's a 2v1. However, I have an enormous amount of AP, pretty miraculous ability to regenerate HP. I'm probably so far ahead of them at this particular moment that I can definitely afford to cast a buff, especially when that buff gives me a threshold heal and I have this much HP. I mean, that's effectively buying me another turn and doing other things, so, I mean, I'm kind of stalling out the game a little bit, and the AI probably wouldn't buff there, but even in a 2v1 like this, I think, see, now I'm in a better position, and I have the other stuff that buff provided, and more AP. Not that I needed it, but, full health again. Really, getting that HP drain was also the big deal because that'll allow her to sustain as long as like his AP is low, which we've ensured that it will be. She has over 200 AP at this point. He's just going to be pinging her for basically no damage, and the other unit's a tank, so we have definitely got this. Can we finish it in time though? Well, we probably could have if I had moved forward and used a 2-targeting skill, but... No, I wanted to ping him out. Okay. Alright, here we go one more time. We're going to do this one in auto and see what auto does with it. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, your full auto battle between Ashen Mont, along with his strategist Oldoa, as well as a pretty damn competent Jueme team. I mean, this one came 68th in Arena just recently, so I would say that it's certainly good enough to make it at least pretty close to the top. So, you know, if it wins or loses, well, if it wins, I mean, good on it. Good on it for beating this Mont. And oh man, I don't think I've announced this yet, but in the previous video was 40 reincarnations. I decided to kind of double down, not literally double down, unfortunately. I'm kind of broke on Transcendent Mind Spheres at the moment. I do have some banked up, but I'm going to hold on to them for a bit because they're not quite enough to go enough further as far as I want to. But our Ashen Mont, if you noticed him being a lot stronger in this video, which actually makes it more impressive that I'm winning these matches, but 60 reincarnations now. Almost fully reincarnated, like 3/4 of the way there. Day 2. I could probably get to 65, but I don't know that it's necessarily super worth it right now. Unfortunately, Elda isn't doing a lot of damage here. Varys also isn't doing a good job of taking damage. She's more of a versus AoE unit, I think, and that's kind of helping her on the Bradley side. But I don't think it's helping her at all when she comes to the Ashen, Mont, and Eldoa side. I mean, because they basically segregated my single target based units over here and my big AoE Stompy boy in the 2v1 lane, which I think is a pretty good setup for this map. Like, I haven't had to adjust the Ashen Mont strategy very much. Maybe there is a better formulation. Maybe I should put him over there with Bradley and leave the tank all by themselves. I don't know. But it also feels like to me like the way that Eldoa's auras work, she wants someone to be with her. She doesn't want to be a distraction tank. She wants to be a leader tank, you know, marching in with the troops. But we have gotten rid of her, at least, and now we've kind of funneled them into the middle of the map. And Jume's single target abilities are really going to do a lot of work here. Now, the same would be true for Ashen Mont. Like, he could definitely dominate from this position himself. Oh man, look at both of them healing themselves back up. Like, we've got sustained for days, boys. But if Mont could do that maybe 2 times in a row instead of building up to just 1, we could actually be in trouble. But thankfully, and especially thanks to the Veritas of the Winds TMR, the Blade Street, we were not in trouble here. And all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. That's the end of part 1. For part 2, I'm going to be coming back with some of the biggest problem teams, I think, for Earth and for Ashen Mont, as we discussed yesterday. And those are going to be, well, actually, Strike wasn't that big of a deal, but it seemed like this episode thing. We're also going to be looking at Pierce pretty intensely, because I think it has a lot of potential. I think there's some kind of surprising, slightly off-meta units that have a ton of utility, specifically against Ashen Mont, that I hope people are going to start noticing. I hope this next video helps people notice some of these units that are going to do particularly good in this meta, where, I mean, like, they definitely had places before, and there were definitely units that they were good against that were important, but I think people might want to reevaluate some of these characters in a new light, especially when they work into job teams. So, especially for the piercing, there was a lot of tuning that I had to do for that team. It did not take to winning against Ashen Mont easily, but once it did, it was actually kind of dominant. So that one is going to be one to watch. And also, and this was kind of a shoo-in, but like securing your win team against Ashen Mont, and even the Ashen Mont Eldoa combo, all of that to come in the next episode. If you are still watching, thank you so much for sticking with it. Thank you for giving me them viewership numbers and all those hours of views. I really appreciate you. But if you could do one more thing to show YouTube you love me, like, subscribe, also maybe leave a comment on someone's comment, like a comment, like someone's comment on a comment. Or you could also check out the description. There is going to be a link posted there that's going to lead you to all the corners of the Jackie Fox media universe, including books. I am an author. I write books. You should check those out. There's links to them there. Within that link, it's a link tree. It's 2024. That's how that works. Thank you so much for tuning in. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one.